Welcome back. We continue right here on the Bordas and Bordas hotline of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Pittsburgh CW, Bob Pompeani, Gene Collier, and we think we have the audio situation fixed. But I want to remind you about our hole-in-one today, brought to you by Ruth's Chris. Jim Fink at Nevillewood.
Good, Jim.
And in by Jim Ankowitz, the outstanding head professional there. 140 yards, number 8 iron. So Jim Fink, congratulations. You are the winner of the Ruth's Chris Sizzling Shot. High five to your efforts today, number 8 at Nevillewood. All right, Gene, let's get to the lines. And our apologies again to those of you who waited so long. Marilyn, you're first up. Hey, Marilyn, how are you?
Hi, great show. I was
Thanks,
wondering if you think that Pittsburgh and Pittsburghers have embraced the soccer game because of the Riverhounds.
Well, the Riverhounds are having an outstanding season. They have 12 shutouts this season, Maryland, and there should be, you know, this is the time of year. There's not a lot going on, quite frankly, and the Pirates have been up and down. I would encourage people to go there. It's a fun night out. You get to see some different kinds of things, and they're 9-1-7 right now. And you know, given all the hoopla of the World Cup, which, Gene, a lot of people here don't get into. You know, there are a lot of professional sports in this country that are prioritized, and rightfully so. We've had them forever, but soccer just does not necessarily trend as well here. Do you have any thoughts as to why?
Well, it doesn't help when the United States does not qualify for the World Cup. That's, I gather, a tremendous embarrassment. The World Cup, from what I've seen, has been really interesting, with great play across, you know, a host of teams. Croatia, a big surprise in the World Cup, coming from behind to beat England today and getting into the final. I don't know what effect this has on American soccer. It doesn't, you know, it's not a positive effect in years like this when, you know, the United States is not involved.
No, I agree. Croatia with a big win. They've never been to a World Cup final. They've never, and they're a very small nation comparatively, and yet they are come back from. They had 3 of those comebacks in this World Cup 2018. Right. So that's something that you don't see a lot in soccer. But that was terrific, and they'll play against France now in the championship game. That'll be on Sunday. But get out to the Riverhounds game. I think you'd like the opportunity to do that on a nice summer night. It's a beautiful view of the city. Let's go to line 5. That's Tony in the Hill District. Hey, Tony, how are you?
Hello, Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I just want to ask you a question. Do you think the Steelers are going to make the 13-3 that this year, like they did last year, with the tough schedule that they have this year? I mean, besides the Browns, because you know they always beat the Browns. But I'm saying, like with the rest of the teams they got to play, like Carolina, do you think they're going to do that 13-3 this year?
I think that'd be hard to duplicate it, just because so many questions that we've seen and on the defense, Gene. But, you know, I don't know that that division is all that good. Cleveland will be better. I mean, they had no wins last year. They have to be better, don't they? They brought in some talent. But overall, I think the Steelers should still win that division. I have no idea what the record will be.
No, I mean, I always consider the Steelers a 10 or 11 win team, potentially. Once in a while they'll win more. But it's hard to win in the NFL, even in a division where you're almost guaranteed 3 or 4 wins with the Bengals and the Browns. I mean, I think the Steelers are good. I have no idea. It's too early for me to think how many games they can win.
Yeah, I do think Baltimore is going to be interesting to watch. They have some talented players, but there's also a lot of question about Joe Flacco. As we get closer to training camp, we'll talk about some of those issues moving forward. In the meantime, let's go out to Brad in Duncansville. Hey, Brad, how are you?
Good, Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks for calling.
It's my birthday today. And,
happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
You think the Pirates are going to be buyers or sellers? And I do have a prediction for the Steelers record, which they're going to finish this year.
Let's have it.
12-4.
Okay.
And that'll win a division, most likely. It might be more difficult than that. Thanks, Brad. Happy birthday to you. But Pirates are going to be sellers. I don't see any way that, you know, I felt this at the beginning of the season. I thought they'd be sellers just because I didn't see a lot of talent there on a regular basis, at least a consistent basis. And I think that's pretty much played out, Gene.
Well, I'll remind you that this time last year, the Brewers came to town for another series. It was a 4-game series. The Pirates swept them and moved to within a couple of games of first place. I believe that was on July 20th.
Yeah, almost the same exact time of the year.
Right. So, and that did not change their outlook at all. They were sellers anyway. So I don't know what they're going to do, especially if they lose 4 of these 5.
Yeah, they got to sweep and hope. Sweep and hope would be the hashtag. Let's go to Pete in Squirrel Hill. Pete's always on. What's up, Pete?
Bob and Gene, how are you tonight?
Hey,
Good.
Pete.
Bob, I am never not amazed by the lack of knowledge of the people who think they understand sports. When the show began, a gentleman tweeted you about the best player in the National League coming into town, Nelson Aguilar. Is anybody aware of what that third baseman in Colorado has done?
Yeah, Arenado's always good, though.
Glove his first 5 years in the majors. It has never been done before. He has 130 RBIs, 3 consecutive seasons. And Bob, his split since he's come into the majors, he has more homers and RBIs on the road over at home.
I agree.
That's what Arenado has done.
I've always liked Nolan.
Tell the guy it's a fan of Aguilar that. Thank you.
And it's Jesus Aguilar, but it's, you know, he's having a wonderful season at 23 and 67 with a 300 average. And he's just because he's an unknown player largely, he doesn't get the kind of respect. Nolan Arenado's been around for a long time. He's very good. Although I got to say, I thought that Anthony Rendon played as good a defensive third base in this series that I've seen anyone play this year, Gene.
Yeah, I always liked him. He had a homer last night. A couple years ago, he had 10 RBI in one game.
Yeah, and they had one of those guys this year, Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, that's right.
Earlier just last series, as a matter of fact.
The talent they have, and they're, what are they, 45 and 46?
Can you explain what's your analysis of why the Pirate pitching has been so erratic? Is it just young and not experienced enough to go through these things?
Yeah, well, it's young, but it's also inexperienced. I mean, look at guys like, you know, Williams and Cool and even Tyone. You know, they're just inexperienced major league pitchers. And, you know, there's no evidence that necessarily that they're good major league pitchers yet.
No.
But yeah, it's a combination of those two things. I mean, they're just all over the map.
Let's go back out to the phone lines on the Borders and Borders hotline. We welcome in Kathy on line 1. Hey, Kathy. Kathy.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Bob, you look good in the tie and shirt you have on.
You sure does.
Thank you. My wife.
And I wanted to see your opinion on Le'Veon Bell. If you really think he's going to be, this could be his last season with the Steelers, and if they can afford to lose him.
Gene, thanks, Kathy.
Yeah, I think it will be, and I think they can afford to lose him. I mean, I think he is the best back, the best all-around back in the league. But I mean, in the NFL, the difference between the best back and the 10th or 15th or 25th best back is not all that great, and not that all that much of a concern. I think if you lose one of those players, now I could be totally wrong about that.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. You could find, it's easier to find a running back who can take over a game than it is to find, you know, wide receivers who are some of the best in the game, or quarterbacks. I mean, just look at the plethora of talent at running back all throughout the league, and many of them are not first or second or third round picks. Some of them are 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks. So,
and in many cases, it's not the running back who takes over a game; it's the offensive line who takes over a game. And
the Steelers have a pretty good one, so you would expect that. Although it's not as deep as it was, you know, they lost Hubbard, who took the free agent,
Hubbard was a good player,
and now the guy who was supposed to be the backup at that position is also hurt. So, depth is a big issue in this day and age in football. Nick in Bell Vernon. Hey, Nick, how are you?
Hi, Bob and Gene. Just want to mention 5 great things to love about soccer. No commercials during the game.
Oh, yeah.
No strategy timeouts. Most games are done under 2 hours.
Exactly.
3 rules that you really need to know. And the video replay is done in under 2 minutes. The NFL can learn a lot from them.
Yeah, I think so. I think the NFL is, speaking of that, and thanks for the call, and you're right, it does go. You don't have to. You get 45 minutes, you're at halftime, boom. And you keep watching through. You get halftime, and then there's no more interruptions the rest of the way. So I like that too. But he brought that up now about the NFL, how long games are going to take. Now we've already seen baseball, Gene, at 4 hours and 30 minutes this homestand. Right. Now we have a whole new set of rules coming in with head-to-head, helmet-to-helmet contact, and I really believe, and talking to a lot of officials, it's going to be a kind of a learning curve in the preseason to figure out how they can, what they can, and how you sort of fine-tune and how players adapt to that.
Absolutely. I mean, the NFL has been in a transitional period for about 5 years now with new rules regarding concussions. But this newest rule where a player cannot lower his head to initiate contact, that's every player on every play, and it remains to be seen, you know, how players are going to adapt to it and how officials are going to call it. Are those calls reviewable? I don't even know that, Bob. Do you know that?
No, I don't think they are. I think it's just like any other penalty. They call it, but how do you know if one's intending to do it?
Yeah.
Offensive linemen and defensive linemen engage in helmet-to-helmet contact almost every play, don't they?
I know. I mean, you know, the logical extension of that new rule is the rule that makes all offensive linemen stand up on every play, and you can't, you know, fire out into everybody else.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with more right here, Pittsburgh CW.
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse congratulates this week's golfers who scored a hole-in-one. And if you're looking to celebrate or just want a perfect meal, then tee up a sizzling steak at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Pittsburgh's most awarded steakhouse where you'll never need a mulligan.